Hey everybody, I'm Jayempee, SuperMarioLogan. If you don't know who SuperMarioLogan is, he is a YouTuber with over 6 million subscribers and makes plush videos. If you have never seen SuperMarioLogan before, I would highly recommend watching at least some of his videos before watching this one. But I'm not going to be talking about SML in this video. No, I'll be talking about SML related YouTubers. I've been a fan of SuperMarioLogan for about a year now. And in that time, I've come across some YouTubers that primarily focus on content about his videos, usually reactions or reviews, and I've been watching some of them for a while now. And I decided to make this video just giving my overall thoughts on their channels. I want to make it clear, everything I'm going to say is my opinion. I'm not hating on anyone I mention, I'm not trying to get anyone to change their opinion on them either. What I will do is talk about each YouTuber in their own segment, and give a quick summary of their channel before giving my thoughts on them. With all that out of the way, now we can begin. So firstly, I'll talk about what I think of Debs Reactions. So his reactions I think can be pretty good most of the time. He generally gives alright commentary on what's happening in the video. His mic quality is decent enough I think. Occasionally he even says a joke that might get a chuckle out of me. However, I don't really like whenever he collabs with someone during his reactions. A lot of the time, whoever's his guest doesn't really say much and doesn't seem to be too interested in the video. And I kind of wish Deb would actually use a face cam. I don't really know why he doesn't, but, you know, that's his decision to just use his voice, I guess. And one last thing is, I feel like sometimes he gets overly mad whenever they make a Cody's gay joke. I mean, the Cody's gay joke I don't think is, you know, hilarious whenever they do it or anything. So I think Deb's SML Problems videos are actually really good. They're really well researched and highly edited, and he even brought up a lot of good points throughout all his videos on how to help Logan and his channel. I'd honestly recommend watching them. That's really all I have to say. Next, let's talk about Deb's reviews. Now, overall, I think his SML reviews are... Really, the main problem is that in a lot of his reviews, he spends too much time recapping the entire video, like just saying everything that happens on the screen, instead of actually giving his opinions on it. I'll be using his review of the SML movie The Bake Sale as an example. Basically, the video he's reviewing is about Junior and his friends wanting to win a competition to get $100,000. Joseph ends up falling off the house, getting all of his bones broken, and Junior and Cody have to raise $50,000 in 24 hours, or else Joseph will die. They try to do this by doing a bake sale, no surprise. Alright, now to the actual review. In the first 10 seconds, he just says when he first saw it, he thought that it wasn't a good or bad video, which, alright, that's pretty fair after seeing it for the first time. But then, he literally spends 7 minutes and 12 seconds of an 8-minute and 56-second video recapping the entire video. I'm not even kidding. He spends that long only talking about what is happening in the video with the video playing in the background. He does give a few comments here and there about something that he explained, but those are very few and very spread out over 7 minutes. And finally, after the summarization, he only spends 40 seconds talking about what he thought of the video, which shortened down was just, he thought the video wasn't awful, he thought some of the jokes were funny the first time he saw it, but now thought they were irritating, he thought the ending ruined the purpose of the video, and thought it was long and boring. That's it. That's literally the entire review portion of the video. Seriously, Deb? Over 7 minutes of explaining the video, then only 40 seconds actually giving your thoughts on it? There really was no need to spend that long only talking about the premise of the video. I'm pretty sure almost anyone who was watching a review of that SML movie would have already seen the original video, so they would know what had happened. And even if someone hadn't seen it, you really could have just gave a quick description like I gave a few moments ago. Or even if you want to spend that long talking about the premise of the video, you could at least give a timestamp of when your actual review starts. Or actually, here's a better idea. Why not suggest to your viewers to watch the original video before watching your review? That way, you don't need to spend so much time explaining the entire video. I know I went on a bit long talking about this video. It's mainly because I could have used a lot of his reviews as an example. And pretty much most of what I explained earlier could describe any of his reviews. I'll list a few more examples of videos like this. His SML movie Broken review spends the first 4 minutes and 39 seconds talking about what's happening in the video, only 34 seconds giving his opinion on it at the end, with a few comments during it mentioning some jokes he thought were funny. His SML movie review of Jeffy's Parents. This video is a collab he did with another reviewer, Avis Reviews. It spent about 5 minutes and 18 seconds talking about the premise of the video. Still quite long. This time, Deb did bring up a good point about the cat piano continuity. But aside from that, there's only really a few comments here and there throughout the summary of the premise. After that, they both give their thoughts on the video. They talk each for about 30 seconds. Even though they were short, I think they were decent descriptions of what they liked. I just wished it could have been longer and less time, spent on the summary. His SML movie, Joseph's House review. 5 minutes and 38 seconds of the video, he does this little story through skits with his plush character called Blue Dude. Honestly, not a fan of these skits. Not too much to say. They're not bad or anything, but just, not my cup of tea. So with the actual review, once again, 4 minutes, 3 seconds of the video is spent talking about the premise, while only 40 seconds was dedicated to talking about what he liked. His SML movie, Bowser Jr. Goes to the Sun review. Spends 3 minutes of the video recapping what happened, and only 45 seconds is spent actually giving his thoughts on it. His SML movie, The Quiet Game review. Spends 3 minutes, 41 seconds recapping the video, and only about a minute is the actual review. Now, I know I only gave 5 examples, but honestly, there are many more I could have used. And do you guys see a pattern here? Every review I mentioned, only around 40 seconds to a minute is spent actually giving his thoughts on the video. And the recapping in every video was around 3 to 4 minutes. And like I said, there are plenty more examples I could have given. Now, is every single review of Debs terrible? Well, no. I mean, his reviews, again, I don't think they're terrible. But this whole problem of recapping the entire video and spending so much of the video doing that is the main problem. But one review I think was alright is his SML movie, Jeffy's Mistake review. This one is admittedly on the better side. He only spent about 2.5 minutes recapping what happened in the video. Still a bit long, I think. Okay, so this is a sort of update. While I was making this video, Dad made a somewhat response to people telling him that he should stop spending so much time recapping his reviews. His newest review of the SML video, Zombie Bowser, he actually didn't explain every little detail of the video, and just skipped right to his actual thoughts. At first I was like, oh wow, Deb actually stopped giving novel-length summarizations. And for a brief moment, a slight brief moment, I was even considering changing my script after seeing this. But oh no, the video still has another 4 minutes left. And most of it consists of his own remake of the video with his own plush characters. Now I'm not entirely sure why exactly he did this, and I don't know if he's going to do this for every review, but I left a comment explaining why I think having so much recap in every video isn't necessary, and Deb just responds with, because every video will be about a minute long. That's stupid. Okay, I have multiple things to respond with. First of all, how is making a review of something only a minute long stupid? There are plenty of videos on YouTube that are only a minute or less, and people still like them. One example I want to give is by the YouTuber The Real Jim. He makes pretty much Simpsons content primarily, and he also has a series of videos where he reviews Simpsons episodes, but they're each only 60 seconds long. And these are actually good. And by the way, you pretty much admitted that you spend so much time summarizing the video just to make it longer. Again, a better solution is to tell people to watch the original video before watching your review. In fact, I do want to bring up Dab's review of the SML video, Cody's Favorite Game. In this review, he only spent around 30 seconds summarizing the video, and spent a lot longer than normal giving his thoughts on the video, and why Logan shouldn't have done an entire video that was just an advertisement. And the video is only under 4 minutes. Yeah, I do actually think this was an alright video. And I bring this up for 2 reasons. One, to show why Dab doesn't need to spend so long recapping a video, and 2, to show that a review can be both good and also short. So lastly, I'll talk about Dab's thumbnails. For most of his reactions and his reviews, he just has some kind of random image that expresses some kind of emotion towards the video. Sometimes this might get a chuckle out of me after seeing the title, then the thumbnail. However, his thumbnails for other videos like the SML Problems videos, there is one problem I have with them. There's just too much text in them. And the text is almost unreadable since it's in such a small fraction of the thumbnail. Even if it is zoomed in all the way, it's still kinda hard to read. So for my final thoughts on Dobie H Dude, I know I spent a long time talking negatively about his reviews, But overall, I do like Deb, and I do enjoy his reactions a lot. And the actual review portions of his reviews are also pretty good. And his SML Problems videos are also actually probably some of the best videos on his channel. I just hope he will at least listen to the criticism I gave. He doesn't have to change anything in his reviews, but I do hope he at least considers what I suggested. So Math Dominus I discovered after I started watching Dobie H Dude. His content primarily consists of doing reactions and reviews about SML content, though another type of content he does that I don't think I've seen with any other YouTuber is he also makes theories on SML videos. Those I'll talk more about later. Now, one problem I had when writing the script is a lot of what I could say about Math Dominus I had already said about Dobie H Dude, since they both do very similar content, which is, reviews and reactions. They both have very long recaps of the videos they're reviewing, they both have those plush skits in their videos that I think are both just decent, and they both just use their voices when doing reactions, so forgive me if it sounds like I'm repeating myself at moments. Math Dominus, I think in a majority of his SML reactions, he does give okay commentary throughout the video. Now his mic quality I think is pretty clear and it's easy to hear what he's saying, aside from the problem that there is frequently popping sounds throughout most videos. It's not really that big of a deal once you get used to it. That's pretty much really all I have to say, to be honest. So much like Dobie H Dude, I think Math's reviews are pretty The editing in these videos are pretty decent as far as having something visually going on in the background. I'm going to use two of his reviews as examples of what I like and dislike in his reviews. His reviews are of Jeffy's Parents and Jeffy the Babysitter. So his Jeffy's Parents review I think is actually good. Much like with most of his reviews, he does those skits with his own plush characters, and like I said, I don't really care for these. I do think they took up a bit too much time in the video with around half the length or 6 minutes dedicated to it. Though I can see how others would like it, it's just not for me. Not for me! But now with the actual review. One thing that I really like here is there is no recap whatsoever. He immediately just starts the video with what he thinks about it, which is something I think puts this video instantly above most of his other reviews. And I think he made a lot of good points about why he didn't think Jeffy's Parents was a good video. Like how it just being sad didn't automatically equate to it being good, and how the backstory felt very forced, and how it didn't make sense for Mario to care about Jeffy after literally trying to have him murdered in another video. While I do disagree, and I did actually think this was an alright video, I can at least acknowledge that these are fair points. Now for the Jeffy's Homework review. This review I'm kinda mixed on. While there are things I like, there's also things I don't like. For what I do like, well, he did spend a decent amount of time of the video, actually reviewing it, giving his thoughts on it and such. And I liked a lot of things he had to say about the video itself, especially about how Jeffy used to be like how he was in Jeffy's Homework, whereas nowadays all he does is yell and complain, and isn't even really retarded anymore. But for what I don't like, well, once again he spent a noticeable amount of time recapping the video at 1 minute 40 seconds. Not an insane amount of time, but still unnecessarily long. Also, one pretty big problem, I think, is the music is too loud compared to your voice. Math's theories, I think, are pretty decent, even though some of them have been answered by now, like what happened to Jeffy's sister, Jeffy's father, and Jeffy's abusive parents. If I had to say what theories I think were the best, perhaps the theories on is Joseph insane, does Mario have Stockholm Syndrome, and is Jeffy smart. Now the actual video on Is Joseph Insane is pretty bad, mainly the editing, though the points he brought up about this theory were pretty good. The Does Mario have Stockholm Syndrome theory I think is actually pretty weird to make a theory on, though again the points made sense when you actually think about it. And the theory on Is Jeffy smart is probably the best one he's made, mainly for two reasons. One, I think it's the most plausible one out of all the theories he's done, and two, it has the most and best editing during the video. So Nitendo, he is an animation channel that does animations of SML videos. Okay, I'm just gonna be straight up. His animations are pretty bad. I've watched a good chunk of them, like around 40 to 50, and honestly, the only actual animation that happens during his videos are when the characters' mouths are moving. And even then, it's only like the same few frames each time. Or whenever a character's whole body or body part moves. It always comes off as so lazily done. And even the character models don't look good. They all look incredibly basic and only look just enough like the actual SML characters to be able to recognize them. The backgrounds in most videos are also pretty bland. It's usually just 1 or 2 colors behind the characters. Another big problem with Nitendo is that he does not want to take anyone's criticism at all. Whenever anyone tries to give him some advice on how he can make his videos better, he seems to always just think that they are hating, or whenever people try to tell him that his videos are lazy, he brushes it off with how he puts it.
The haters' only reason why they hate my channel is because they despise the way I choose to run my channel by doing 2 animations a week. And then they go on my channel and say the classic lines of, my videos are lazy and effortless. That is literally their only argument when it comes to my channel.
See, Nitendo, the reason that people mention that a lot is because it's a huge problem with your videos. The story and voice acting is already made by SML. Your videos are animations of SML videos. And if the animation itself is lazily done, then pretty much the whole video is going to be bad, since that is the point of the whole video. It would be like if someone uploaded a review of an episode of a TV show, but didn't even mention anything to do with the episode, and just talked about random other stuff. People would say that that is a bad review, because it would be. Nintendo has also mentioned that he has perfected his channel on getting videos out in a short period of time. See, Nintendo, that isn't in any way an excuse for the quality of your videos. Just because you make a video in a short period of time doesn't mean people can't criticize it or dislike it. You don't need to make 2 videos every single week. You can spend however much time on a video to make it as good as it can be. The final thing I want to mention is that I believe Nintendo's videos will encourage what I will call the standard for mediocrity. Super Mario Logan himself has said before that he likes Nintendo's animations, and even got Nintendo to do an animation for the SML movie, Jeffy's Sleepover, in which the animation was a Brooklyn tea guy telling a story about how he got a bag of Cheez-Its. Now, because Logan himself has shown acceptance of the style of videos that Nintendo has made, he has basically set the bar for how good SML animations need to be. If he likes Nintendo's animations, there's no reason he wouldn't like one of the same quality by another YouTuber. And thus, there is no real incentive to make anything better than what Nintendo's videos are at. It's like if your boss says you only need to work 2 hours a day, but you could work for 3 hours a day, but with no extra pay. I guarantee nobody would want to work an extra hour every day for basically no reason. I think the best thing that Nintendo can do is spend more time working on each animation. Here are some tips I have. Number 1 is make a different mouth animation for each syllable that can be said by a character. In your videos, you only use the same looped mouth movement each time a character talks, giving no distinction in what they say. But if you make a whole bunch of short mouth animations of syllables like f, n, m, s, p, you can spend a set amount of time making these, then can use them for the characters in every future video. Here's an example I'll give. It's by a YouTuber named Andre Turbia. Sorry if I can't pronounce your name. He makes pretty good videos, not gonna lie. In most of his videos, he has an animated character talking on the screen, and he has his mouth animated too. But see, whenever Andre talks, it actually looks like he's saying words instead of just the same looped animation. Let's take a look at a short clip with sound to show what I mean.
By the end of this video, I will do something that I never imagined I'd have to do, and that is defend Greg Paul.
You see? Whenever Andre says a word, it actually looks like a word is coming out of his mouth. But if you look at an Andre mouth animation and a Nintendo mouth animation, the difference between them is clear. Number 2 is spend more time animating the movements of each character. All of the characters only ever move their whole body, or just move their arms. In the actual SML movies, while yes they are puppets and plush toys, they do still have more movement than in your animations. I don't think it would take an insane amount of time to copy the movements of the characters a bit better. Number 3 is more accurately present what position the characters are in a scene. A lot of the time, the characters are just pasted over the background. And most of the time again, it simply doesn't make sense. Here's an example I'll use. It's the most recent animation he's made for the SML movie Bowser's Mistake. In the original, Bowser is standing on the bed, or maybe in universe he's supposed to be lying down? Because I don't know why he would be standing on his bed, so we'll just say that he's meant to be lying down, for simplicity. But now let's look at Nintendo's animation. Because it is made in 2D, we always see the characters in the same positions. They're usually either facing the camera, or facing left or right. Now, this doesn't look right, because where exactly is Bowser looking at in this scene? Is he looking straight ahead? Is he looking at the ceiling? It feels like the top half of his body is hovering 90 degrees in the air. The last thing I want to say is, Nintendo, if you don't want to change how you make your videos, then that's fine. If you like how you make them, that's also okay. Then I'm not going to say you have to change your videos. These are just suggestions that I would recommend. Awful fan voice animations I think are decent. The mouth animations work okay when a character's talking, though the designs on some characters look pretty weird and highly exaggerated. I mean, just look at Jeffy, oh my god. One improvement I like that she's made is originally she didn't have the characters' mouths move at all when they're talking, and now she animated them. And like I said, they are alright. Awful Fan 4 hasn't made that many animations. There's only around 15, and some of them are really short, not even over 10 seconds, but yeah, overall, I think she has alright animations. Michael Bautista, I believe, makes the best SML animations. Seriously, his animations are really good. They look a lot like the characters, the mouth animations are great, and there's tons of different angles portraying the characters. And you know what makes his videos even better? He makes them on a Nintendo 3DS. I honestly can't believe how good his videos are after being made on a Nintendo 3DS. The only thing I don't like is how he records the screen with, I think, a phone to upload the animation to YouTube, since I don't think there's a way to record it on a 3DS, but that's only a small thing. If I had to pick my favorite one, probably the animation of the SML movie The Bet. Honestly, it was just really good. So yeah, Michael, keep up the great work. So Kabletown does SML parody videos. I think his parodies are pretty middle of the road. Some things I like is he's pretty good at replicating the style of SML videos with the angles coming down at the beginning of scenes, and the positions of the characters as well. But for what I don't like, well, the actors really aren't that good at voice acting for their character. A lot of the time it feels like they're just reading the lines out loud with very little emotion. And whenever someone is voicing two characters in the same scene, honestly, there's very little distinction between the two.
Mister, we already told you we don't even want any candy canes. No, not a candy cane, a hurricane. And you need to get out of here before you get killed.
As for the actual characters in the videos, most of them are characters we've seen in SML videos, with some other characters like Morty from Rick and Morty and these two Splatoon squids. The characters are okay, I think. They do at least somewhat have a noticeable personality with each of them. And hell, I even laughed at some of the moments. Yeah, I don't really think I have much else to say about Kabletown. His videos are, I would say at best they're alright, and at worst they're pretty boring. So Baum, I actually only discovered his channel during the making of this video. I saw one of his videos in the recommended section on YouTube and I decided to check it out. Tom's channel mainly consists of 3 types of content: SML compilations / try not to laugh challenges, SML parodies, and SML YTPs. So I'll talk about each of these types of videos separately. I don't really know what there is to say about his compilation videos, to be honest. Everything made in these videos is made by SuperMarioLogan. I don't really have anything against compilation / try not to laugh challenge channels. I'll admit, watching an SML compilation with many good moments is enjoyable for only watching the funny moments from videos, and that's really all I gotta say. So Tom's parodies aren't that good. I would say they're a bit worse than Kabletown's parodies. Some issues I have is, for one, a lot of the voices done by the voice actors are very strange for their characters. Just listen to Cody.
Hey Chef PP, could you hook me up with some booty? Make sure it's nice and chocolatey, man.
Wow, that really doesn't sound like Cody at all. Also, Black Yoshi here isn't black, he's orange, yet in the videos he's still referred to as Black Yoshi. And much like with Kabletown, the actors don't really do a good job at expressing emotions with their characters. YTPs aren't exactly the easiest thing to review or criticize, mainly because of how random and different they all are. I do like YTPs, however, though I mainly watch them through reactors or when the few YTP makers I'm subscribed to actually posts a new video, like PyPivotMontier-O or Emperor Lemon. He's only made 4 of these, and honestly, I don't like any of them. They really just weren't funny. One last thing I want to mention that I really don't like that he does is he's made some top 10 lists about SML videos, except these really aren't top 10 lists. This one, for example, SML top 10 songs. You might think, oh, is that just him talking about his favorite SML songs? Well, no, he just plays all of the songs in a row, unedited, and no commentary or any kind of opinions anywhere. Really, Tom? Not giving your opinions and just playing the entire songs throughout the video? That's pretty unnecessary.
This is disgusting!
If the title was SML Song Compilation, that probably wouldn't be as bad. But seriously, you couldn't even just say why you think these specific songs are better than the other SML songs? And he's done this with other videos too. Charmix is definitely my favorite reactor out of all the ones I will mention. Spoiler, I guess. I've been watching him for about 2 years now, and Charmix is actually how I found out about SML in the first place. He started reacting to SML back in June of 2017, and I remember thinking, what the hell is this? People playing with toys and recording it? Oh, how fool I was back then. Eventually I watched one of those videos, and I liked it. So I watched more and more and more, and now SML is currently my favorite YouTuber. Charmix, I feel, has a really likable personality. Whenever he laughs at something, it always does feel genuine, and a lot of the time he does give pretty good commentary on what's happening in the video. The only thing I'd say I don't like is sometimes he doesn't really get a joke, and something that just happened, but overall, still a great YouTuber. Dwayne and Jaz have been watching for a few months now. Overall, I think their videos are just alright. There really isn't much to say about them, to be honest. I do think they give okay commentary most of the time. Though some videos, it does feel like they don't say much. And I'm not really a fan of hearing the actual video sound coming from their computer. And one last thing is, sometimes it does kind of feel like Dwayne doesn't say as much as Jaz during the video. Though that is only sometimes. Now, I don't really like Boozled's reactions. Most of the time, he doesn't really say much that is interesting. Usually just a few sentences throughout the videos. And he doesn't give off the best facial reactions either. What I would recommend for Boozled is just to comment more on what is happening, and maybe have a bit over-exaggeration when he is reacting to something. I don't mean just straight up going crazy, I mean just being a bit more over the top to make it more interesting. Prince Charming is on the better side of SML reactors. Most of the time he does give better facial reactions to things that are happening on screen. Something Prince Charming does that I don't think I've seen with any other reactor is when he stops the video to talk, his face cam zooms in to fill the whole screen. That's actually pretty nice for whenever he pauses to talk for a long time instead of him just staying in the corner of the screen. One big problem with Prince Charming, however, is the clickbait. My god, the clickbait levels here are unbelievably high. He's got all the clickbait tactics. Random sentence before the actual title, it's in all caps, usually a question to draw people in, has something weird happening in the thumbnail, red arrows in a lot of them, and uses a reaction image in every one of them. And the worst clickbaity thing he does is he straight up lies in some of his titles. Here's an example. In his reaction to the SML movie The Secret Door, Jeffy is a serial killer. No. If you actually watch the video, Jeffy did not murder anyone. It was Brooklyn T Guy's relative who was the serial killer. Seriously, Prince? Why would you make a title like that? You know anyone who already watched it or is going to watch it will know you're lying, right? And hell, if you wanted to use a clickbaity title, why didn't you title it something like Jeffy almost gets murdered? Because Jeffy did almost get murdered in the video. I mean, I don't think you should use clickbait at all, but at least don't straight up lie in the title. That's an incredibly scummy thing to do. Just wow. Let's take a look at the clickbait scale. Right now, Charming is in the 4 area. That's pretty high. The only thing that would put him in the 5 is having something sexual in the thumbnail, which, thankfully, as far as I'm aware at least, he doesn't do. So overall, Prince Charming, good reactor, but just tone down the clickbait. It's very unnecessary. Oh, and what the hell is that sound you make? Seriously, it's a really annoying sound. I remember Rashad the Reactor from back in 2015 when he was getting shit on because back then everyone hated reaction channels like Jinx and Tyrone Magnus. And only recently I found out that he does SML reactions now. And he also changed his name to Chard God, which I don't think rolls off the tongue as good as Rashad. I'd say he's somewhat entertaining to watch most of the time. He sort of reminds me of Blasphemous HD because of how over the top he can be. Also, his laugh is just... what the hell? Also, for some reason, he uses specifically different thumbnails for only his SML videos. I don't really know why, to be honest. She's not that interesting. For like 80% of most of her videos, she barely says or does anything. Now I want to make it clear, I can't say she's done this for every single video, but at least from all the ones I've seen, she does very little. And whenever she does say something, it's usually just a really quick comment on what just happened. She doesn't really give any actual opinions on anything that just happened either. It's usually either just a laugh at something, or she makes a weird face. Her thumbnails are okay enough, I guess. They're just a still from the video with text explaining what the video she's reacting to is. Simple, but works fine. Wow, so this video took me a long time to make. From the researching, to the scripting, to the recording my voice, to the editing. I doubt I'll ever make another video with this much time put into it again. I bet a lot of people are probably wondering, Jayempee, why would you spend so much time making a video on such a specific topic like SML YouTubers? Well, honestly, I didn't plan from the start to spend this much time on this one video. In fact, originally, the video I was going to make was going to be only on Dobie H Dude, mainly criticizing his reviews. And I felt there wasn't enough to talk about with him, to be honest. But of course I ended up spending 9 minutes of this video talking about Deb, but I hadn't thought it'd be that long originally. Then I changed it to talking about Dobie H Dude, Dominus, and Nitendo. But then I thought that might be weird doing specifically just those 3 YouTubers. So then I thought, fuck it, I'm gonna make a video talking about all YouTubers that make SML content. And that's how it ended up being so long. Also, the main reason I added the reactors at the end of this video is because I honestly can't see me ever talking about any of them individually, because, like, what is there to say about a reactor? Oh, they react good? So I just decided to add all my thoughts on all of them here. Also, huge thanks to Diego and Tello for making these awesome character stills. The video honestly wouldn't have been anywhere near as good if I didn't have these. Links and timestamps to everything in the description, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see y'all later.